If you jumped into the Battlefield 6 beta, you know it was a trip. A chaotic, often frustrating trip filled with weird movement and wonky gameplay. We saw glimpses of Battlefield magic, but man, there were a few problems. Well, it turns out DICE saw the exact same thing we did, and they just dropped a massive debrief. Basically, a giant list of every major issue and how they're addressing it slash fixing it. So, after a week of radio silence, it's confirmed the beta is not what we're getting at launch. Obviously, they listened, and today we're tearing down that official document to show you everything that's changing before the game goes live. So, first up, the one thing everyone was talking about, the movement. The beta just felt off, right? It was less military shooter and more ice skating arena shooter. Players were just zipping around every corner with slide jumps and bunny hopping through firefights like they were basically shot out of a cannon. The community feedback was deafening. It was too fast, too chaotic, and the so-called skill was all about exploiting this movement, not tactical positioning. So I'm sorry to all you Call of Duty players, but your time in the spotlight using movement to win a fight rather than pure skill is now at an end. So DICE is slamming on the brakes hard. Their debrief confirms they're making some fundamental changes to get back to that classic Battlefield feeling. For starters, that slide jump combo that let you fly across the map with crazy momentum, it's being nerfed. The horizontal speed you get from it has also been cut down significantly as well, so no more flying around some corners at the speed of sound. They're also coming directly for the bunny hoppers. Now, if you spam the jump button, it will come with a big penalty, with each consecutive jump getting lower and lower. Now, this is huge. It makes jumping a tool for climbing over a wall, and now not for dodging bullets in a gunfight. And maybe most importantly, you'll now have a massive accuracy penalty when you try to shoot while sliding or jumping. This is basically the nail in the coffin for that hyper-aggressive movement spamming playstyle, as DICE flat out stated they want to see these moves be situational only. You use them to get into a fight and not to win it. So, what does all this mean? It means fights are going to be way more readable. They'll be won with smart positioning and good aiming, not just by whoever can break the physics engine the hardest, which is a plus. And obviously a lot of Battlefield veterans will like this one. And honestly, it's a clear and total shift away from the chaos to a more tactical pace that actually rewards players' thinking and smart positioning, good aiming, etc. And they even retuned the parachute physics as well, toning down that insane initial acceleration so you actually have good control and can make strategic drops. So this is a total 180, a total change, and it points to a much more satisfying skill gap in the final game, and personally I think this is a step in the right direction for Battlefield 6. Okay, so movement is getting fixed, but what good is that if shooting still feels bad? So let's talk guns. The beta's gunplay was all over the place. Some weapons had crazy, unpredictable recoil patterns, while others felt like laser beams, and that spray and pray was just a little bit too effective. And we all know about the problem child, the M87A1 shotgun, which was basically just a push to delete button for anyone who got too close. So, DICE has now confirmed a complete global overhaul to the gunplay, to make it feel more consistent and skillful. One of the most exciting changes though is that they're making tap firing and burst firing significantly more accurate across the board, which obviously will be amazing for DMR lovers like myself in Battlefield 6. They are actively as well rewarding players who have trigger discipline instead of just holding down the fire button, which again is awesome. And this is a return to form for Battlefield, promoting weapon mastery over just pure volume of fire. They're also doing a full recoil pass to give every single weapon a more unique and learnable personality or profile, and this is how you raise the skill ceiling. So when you can master a gun's kick, it becomes an extension of your own skill, a feeling that defined the best games in this series. And yes, for everyone who was getting sniped by it from a mile away, the M87A1 shotgun is getting nerfed. It's going to take a lot more pallets to land a one-shot kill, finally bring it back, I would say finally bringing it back in line, but I would say hopefully bringing it back in line, because let's be real, it's a shotgun, it should be one-shotting up close, so Yeah, I think shotguns in games are too hard to make right, because let's be real, if you got shot like from like 10 meters away in real life with a shotgun, you're still dead. 15 meters away, you're still dead. So point blank should definitely be doing it, but I digress. DICE is also looking at the overall time to kill and time to death. Now, personally, I think it's a tricky balance to get right, but the fact that they're adjusting it based on our feedback is a fantastic sign. They're committed to making firefights feel fair. Pair all that with a promised 60Hz server tick rate for better hit registration, and you're looking at a gunplay system that will feel crisp, deep, and rewarding. And again, another step in the right direction for Battlefield 6, because the gunplay in the beta, specifically the damage of certain guns, was kind of terrible. I mean, you had an SMG 3 to 4 tap you, whilst I shot a guy twice in the head with a DMR and he still had health. Kind of bonkers, so hopefully we see a good fix for launch. Alrighty, so those are two massive changes to movement and gunplay, but the overhaul to one class system might just be the biggest one yet. Before we get into that though, if you are liking this breakdown and want to stay on top of all things Battlefield 6, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You're not going to want to miss what we have coming. Alright, so let's talk about the soul of Battlefield, team play. In recent years, that classic 4-class system has felt a little watered down. The beta brought back Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon, but the roles still felt blurry, especially the Assault class, which kind of played like a one-man army. Well, now the devs are performing major surgery on the Assault class to force it back into a team player role, thank God, because the Assault class was strange. In their own words, the goal is a greater emphasis on team play. So first up, the adrenaline injector is being totally reworked. It will no longer provide self-healing, and let me say that again, no more instant self-heal for the most aggressive class in Battlefield 6. Instead, the injector gives you a resistance to stuns, explosive, and fire, along with a kind of short speed boost. So it's no longer a get out of jail free card, it's a tool for smart, planned aggression when you're about to like kind of breach a room or assault an objective. To hammer this team focused play kind of thing home, the Assault's main trait is changing. So it was enhanced mobility, it's now gone, now they have commanding presence, a trait that helps nearby squad members capture objectives faster and allows them to respawn on the point more quickly. So the Assault player is now a walking buff for their squad. And honestly, this is kind of cool because like, yeah, it made no sense to put such a focus on teamwork into a game, but then just like one class is just, hey, cool, you're a solo, you just do whatever you want. So yeah, I like this. It's teamwork across the board, and it actually makes playing the Assault a little bit more worthwhile. And in perhaps the wildest change of all, the deploy beacon is now moving from Recon to the Assault class. For years, the spawn beacon was mostly a tool for solo snipers to get back to their perch, well, quicker, but DICE is now flipping that on its head, defining it as a team play tool for frontline flanking. So to make sure it's used that way, the beacon will have limited uses and will actually self-destruct if the Assault player who placed it used it to respawn on themselves. So exactly how it worked essentially for the Recon, but now it's on Assault and with limited uses. Personally, I think this is a brilliant move that kind of turns a selfish gadget into a more powerful strategic tool for the whole squad, because let's be real guys, like I kind of like this change. So the spawn beacon on a sniper, you just put it like a million miles away in the most like useless spot for your team. It worked, don't get me wrong, it works for a sniper. You're perched up on like the side of a mountain, boom, deploy beacon, that's perfect for snipers. But if you're trying to capture objectives, just play the game like how it's meant to be played as a team, having it on top of a mountain is pointless. Like, it doesn't help anyone. So actually changing it from Recon, or even keeping it in Recon but also giving Assault one, perfect. Chef's kiss, good job devs. Now, beyond the core gameplay, our feedback is also reshaping the battlefields themselves. A lot of players felt the beta maps were a little bit too small, chaotic, and full of exploit spots that let people get into glitchy, unfair positions, which is so totally true. Siege on Cairo was just completely broken, but DICE has now confirmed they're plugging those holes, fingers crossed. More importantly though, they've reassured everyone that whilst the beta had smaller maps, massive scale warfare is still coming at launch. We're getting those huge sandbox maps this series is famous for, and they've even announced a remake of the legendary Battlefield 3 map Operation Firestorm, which should have everyone super excited, alongside a huge new map called Mirak Valley. So yeah, that massive scale warfare is definitely there, and I'm kind of excited for it because the beta maps I enjoyed them, but they were a little bit boring. Um, yeah, I mean that might just be perhaps because we played the same four maps for like a whole week. So I don't know. I don't know. Don't shoot me in the comments, man. Don't shoot me. They're also making smart tweaks to game modes. So the devs found that huge player counts in Rush just created frustrating bottlenecks, and I 110% agree with that. So they're lowering the default player count in Rush to bring it back to its tactical flow. And for all of you Chaos lovers, don't worry, the larger player count version will still be available in Portal. It's the perfect compromise, I reckon, showing that they understand what makes each mode tick. Don't get me wrong, like Rush should not have been. Was Rush like 24 by 24? Was it the same as? Yeah, I think it was the same as Breakthrough in the beta. But yeah, I think now they're bringing Rush back down to 12v12. Now, another interesting thing the devs are working on is finding the perfect balance of players for each individual map for certain modes. So, for instance, in the beta, the Breakthrough game mode was limited to 48 players, obviously, so 24v24 another team. However, at launch, this will change slightly. So, depending on the map size, there will be either higher or lower player counts, which is honestly pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. So for a smaller map, you might only find it's 24v24, but on the larger scale maps, they will bring it back to the traditional 32v32, which again, honestly, super smart in my opinion. This way, the small maps don't feel too chaotic and less of a clusterfuck, for want of a better word, and the larger maps don't feel just ridiculously empty with just, 48 players. Not to mention, with the addition of Battlefield 6's new portal, you will be able to tweak all of these settings to your favorite game modes, allowing for some pretty crazy custom maps. So bring on increased vehicle spawns and larger match sizes of 64v64. But what are you guys looking forward to most with Battlefield 6 new portal system? Let me know in the comments below. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Based on the massive debrief, it's obvious that DICE didn't just hear the beta feedback, they're acting on it. And they acted decisively. The movement changes are designed to ground the gameplay more and reward tactical thinking, sorry COD players. The gunplay overhaul promises a higher skill ceiling and real weapon mastery, and the radical rework of the assault class is a bold, necessary move to bring back squad-based team play, the very DNA of the Battlefield franchise. Now, of course, the real test is when we actually get hands on the final game, which obviously launches on the 10th of October 2025 this year. But on paper, every single change hits a massive community concern head on. They're nerfing the chaos and buffing the tactics. This isn't just a patch, guys, it's a course correction, and it's a clear signal that the developers are all in on delivering a skill-based, team-oriented experience that feels like a true evolution of classic Battlefield. What do you guys think though? What was the most important change they announced recently in this new big debrief? Are you guys excited about the new direction for the assault class? Are you guys excited about the weapon changes, the class changes, everything? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I respond to all of them, but enough waffling from me for one day. I'll see you all on the battlefield.